I started my business, I quit my job on a Friday. No backup plan, no savings account with 6 months of expenses, no safety net. My friends thought I lost my mind. My family said I was being stupid. But I looked at my boss and I said, I'm done. And you know what he said to me? He said, you know, you're making a mistake. You should keep this job, build your business on the side, see if it works out. And I looked at him and I said, if I keep this job, I'll never build my business. Because I'll always have this to fall back on. I'll always have an excuse not to go all in. So I walked out that door and I never looked back. And that was the day I burned my boats. If you really believe it, if you really believe that you can build something great, if you have that voice inside your head telling you that you were made for more than this, then you need to listen to that voice. You know what most people do? They wake up every single day and they think about their dreams. They think about what they could be. They think about what they want to do. They tell themselves that one day they're going to make it happen. One day they're going to quit that job they hate. One day they're going to start that business. One day they're going to write that book. One day they're going to lose that weight. One day they're going to become the person they know they can be. But that day never comes. Because they never burn the boats. They keep one foot on the shore and one foot in the water. And you can't win like that. I'm going to tell you something today. There are two types of people in this world. There's the 97% and there's the 3%. The 97%, they play it safe. They keep their options open. They have backup plans and contingency plans and plans for their plans. They never fully commit to anything because they're too scared of what happens if it doesn't work out. They want guarantees before they take risks. But here's the problem with the 97%. They never win. They never build anything great. They never become legendary. They stay comfortable and they stay average and they stay stuck. And then there's the 3%. The 3%, they burn the boats. They cut off all routes of retreat. They make it impossible to go back. They don't have a plan B because plan B is just a distraction from plan A. Join the 3%. Walk away from the 97%. Don't think like they think. Don't act like they act. Don't make the same excuses they make. Throw away the safety net they cling to. Burn your boats. Cut yourself off from retreat. Make failure so scary that success becomes your only option. And when you do that, when you truly commit, you can have whatever you want. That's when the miracle starts. You know that feeling when you're stuck in a life you don't want? Most people live lives of quiet desperation. That's not my quote, but it's the truest thing I've ever heard. And I was that person. I was the guy going to work every day, hating every second of it. Coming home exhausted. Too tired to work on my dreams. Too comfortable to make a change. That's what the safe path gives you. Quiet desperation. A slow death of your potential. A life where you wake up at 65 years old and realize you never actually lived. You just existed. You played it safe, and the safe path destroyed you. But here's what nobody tells you. You have to take the dangerous path if you want to win. You have to be willing to risk everything. You have to be willing to fail so hard that people laugh at you. You have to be willing to lose it all. Because the safe path and the winning path, they don't go to the same place. You have to choose. And when you choose to burn the boats, yeah, it's terrifying. When I quit that job, I was broke 6 months later. I couldn't pay my rent. I was eating ramen noodles for dinner. My car got repossessed. I had nothing, but I still didn't go back. Because I knew that if I went back, if I got another safe job, I would die there. So I kept going. And that's the only way you ever get where you want to go. You have to take a path that's dangerous, and the dangerous path feels like you're going to die. But the safe path kills you slowly, which is worse. To die trying to become something great, or to die never having tried at all. Let me tell you what burning the boats really means. It means you're out there grinding when everyone else is sleeping. You see people going to parties and you're working. You see people taking vacations and you're building. You see people relaxing on the weekends and you're putting in hours. And sometimes you look at them and you think, man, they look happy. They look like they're having fun. Maybe I should join them. Maybe I should take a break. Maybe I should slow down. But then you remember why you're doing this. You remember that you're trying to get it. What does that mean? It means you're trying to become somebody. You're trying to build something. You're trying to win. And winning requires sacrifice. So why are you staying on that basketball court when everyone else went home? Because you're trying to get it. Why are you studying when everyone else is out clubbing? Because you're trying to get it. Why are you working late nights and early mornings? Because you're trying to get it. And people don't understand that. They call you obsessed. They call you crazy. They say, why are you so antisocial? Why don't you ever come out anymore? And you have to look at them and say, because I'm trying to get it, and they won't get it. They can't get it, because they're not willing to burn their boats. Here's something you need to understand. People are time wasters. The majority of people have no goals. They have no plans. They have no vision for their future. They think that because their time isn't valuable, your time isn't valuable either. They want you to waste hours with them doing nothing. They want you to stay at their level, but you can't let them keep you there. If you want to be exceptional, you're going to be different. And different means lonely. Different means isolated. Different means people don't understand you anymore. But that's okay, because you can't fit in and also be exceptional. Both have discomfort. When you fit in, you have internal conflict, because you're not being who you really are. When you're exceptional, you have external conflict, because everyone sees you as weird. Pick one. And when your friends start telling you that you've changed, don't apologize. Smile, because they don't know how to say you've grown. There was a runner named Eliud Kipchoge. Scientists said it was impossible for a human being to run a marathon in under 2 hours. They said the human body couldn't do it. They said it wouldn't happen until the year 2075. They had all the data. They had all the research. They had all the proof that it was impossible. And Kipchoge heard all of that. He heard every expert telling him it couldn't be done. And he said, I'm going to do it anyway. And he did it. He ran a marathon in under 2 hours. He proved every scientist wrong. He broke through a barrier that was supposed to be unbreakable. And after he did it, he said something that everyone needs to hear. He said, no human is limited. Everything is possible when you believe. When you believe. Not when you have a backup plan. Not when you have a safety net. Not when you keep your options open. When you believe. When you burn the boats and commit fully to the impossible. That's when everything becomes possible. You have 2 hands. You have a brain. You have today. Go and take whatever you want. But first, you have to believe. And you have to burn the boats. You want to know if you're really committed? Wait until 4 in the morning. Wait until everything in your life is falling apart. Wait until your best deal collapses. Wait until you can't pay your rent. Wait until you're exhausted and sick and everyone is angry at you and your car breaks down and nothing is working. That's when you find out who you really are. Because most people quit right there. Most people look at all that chaos and they say, forget this. I'm going back to safety. I'm getting a regular job. I'm giving up on the dream. But the people who burn the boats, they pick themselves up and they say, nothing is going to stop me. Nothing. You need to develop the quality of being unstoppable. Tell yourself that no matter what life throws at you, it will never stop you. No matter how rough it gets, no matter how many times you fail, no matter how many people tell you to quit, you will never stop. Make that decision right now. Decide that you can be tired, you can be broke, you can be alone, but nothing is ever going to stop you from getting what you want. That's the decision that changes everything. Because when you make that decision, when you truly commit to being unstoppable, the universe has a strange way of moving out of your way. Things start happening, doors start opening, opportunities appear, but none of that happens until you burn the boats. None of that happens until you decide that quitting is not an option. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize nobody is coming to save them. Nobody is going to fix their problems. Nobody is going to hand them success. And that moment, that realization, That's when boys become men. That's when girls become women. That's when you stop being a child waiting for someone else to make your life better, and you start being an adult who takes responsibility for everything. Some people never have that moment. They stay children forever. They keep waiting for someone to rescue them. They keep blaming other people for their failures. They keep making excuses. And they never burn their boats because they're still hoping someone will come and make it easy for them. But it's never going to be easy. Nobody is coming. You are alone in this fight. And that's actually good news. Because when you realize you're alone, when you realize it's all on you, that's when you become powerful. This is why you have to stay hard. When you weren't given the gifts, when you weren't born with advantages, when nobody handed you anything, the only thing you can do is stay hard, burn the boats and stay hard. There's no magic solution. There's no shortcut. All you can do is outwork everyone. All you can do is refuse to quit. All you can do is burn the boats and keep moving forward no matter what. Here's what you need to win. You need an unlimited supply of drive. You need passion that comes from deep inside. And for some people, that fire is just there naturally. But for most people, it's not. Most people have to create that fire. Most people have to build that drive. I know because I was one of them. I had no passion when I started. I had no motivation. I had no drive. But I had one thing. I had a burning need to be somebody. I had a burning need to prove that I wasn't a waste of space. And I fed that fire every single day. I reminded myself every single morning why I was doing this. Because here's the truth. On all those bad days, on all those days when you want to quit, you have to be your own motivator. You have to be your own coach. You have to be your own trainer. Nobody else is going to do it for you. So you need that fire burning inside you at all times. You need to come to work ready to go even when you failed yesterday, even when you lost everything yesterday, even when the world is telling you to give up. And how do you do that? You burn the boats. You make it so that quitting means dying. You make it so that going back is not an option. You make success your only choice. And then that fire, that need to survive, that becomes your fuel. Reality is your motivation. The fact that you will die if you don't win, that gets you motivated. And you keep that at the front of your mind every single day. Because in those dark moments, when you want to quit, that's when you need it most. And that's when burning the boat saves you. The world has a strange way of stepping aside for people who know exactly what they want. When somebody says, I will do this or I will die trying, the world listens. When somebody says, I will climb this mountain no matter what, things start to change. Let me tell you about that person. That person says, I will climb the mountain, and everyone tells them, it's too high, it's too far, it's too steep, it's too difficult, it's never been done before, nobody has ever done it, you're crazy for trying. But that person just smiles and says, it's my mountain and I will climb it. And they start climbing, and pretty soon you see them at the top waving down at everyone, or you see them dead on the side of the mountain, but they're not coming back down. They burned the boats, they committed. And when you commit like that, when people don't understand you anymore, when people think you've lost your mind, that's when you know you're in the right place. That's when you know you've reached that level of obsession that winners live at. People look at you and say, what is wrong with this person? Why won't they just give up? Why won't they just be normal? And the answer is simple. Because they burned the boats. Because retreat is not an option. Because they would rather die trying than live with regret. Let me ask you a question. When you're failing, when everything is going wrong, when you have to keep going, even though you want to quit, what do you say to yourself? What gets you through that moment? For most people, the answer is nothing. They don't have an answer, they just quit. But for the people who win, for the people who burn the boats, they have a reason that's stronger than the pain. They have a why that's bigger than the struggle. Maybe it's for their family. Maybe it's to prove someone wrong. Maybe it's because they can't stand the thought of living a mediocre life. Whatever it is, it's strong enough to keep them going when everything in their body is telling them to stop. And that reason, that why, that's what you find when you burn the boats. Because when you burn the boats, you have no choice but to find a reason to keep going. You have no choice but to dig deeper than you ever thought possible. You have no choice but to become someone you never thought you could be. That's the power of burning the boats. It forces you to become more. We are designed to suffer. That's something people don't want to hear, but it's true. Human beings are designed to deal with pain. We're designed to struggle. We're designed to face challenges and overcome them. That's how we grow. That's how we get stronger. That's how we become who we're supposed to be. But modern life, modern society, they try to remove all the suffering. They try to make everything comfortable and easy and safe. And what happens? People become weak. People become soft. People lose their ability to handle hardship. And then when real problems come, when real challenges appear, they fall apart. But when you burn the boats, you choose to suffer. You choose the hard path. You choose to struggle. And that struggle makes you powerful. That suffering makes you unstoppable. Because you learn that you can handle anything. You learn that pain is temporary, but regret is forever. You learn that the person who's willing to suffer more wins. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. They have no respect for the way things have always been done. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify them or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some people see them as crazy, I see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. And you know what all those people have in common? They burned the boats. Every single one of them. They didn't have backup plans. They didn't play it safe. They went all in on their vision even when everyone said they were insane. Even when everyone said it was impossible. Even when everyone told them to quit and get a real job. They kept going. Because they had no choice. They burned the boats. The mentality you need to win is different from normal mentality. Normal people think about what happens if they fail. Normal people think about backup plans. Normal people think about how to minimize risk. But winners think differently. Winners stand at the door getting ready to open it and they think to themselves, if I die, so be it. That's the mentality you need. That's the commitment you need. That acceptance of death. That willingness to lose everything. That's what makes you dangerous. And when you're dangerous, when you have nothing to lose because you already burned the boats, that's when you become unstoppable. So when people tell you, hey, just be satisfied with what you have, don't listen to them. Get away from those people, because that's terrible advice. You should never be satisfied. You should always want more. You should always be growing. You should always be climbing higher, because the attempt to get more, the attempt to achieve more, that's what makes you better. That's what makes you grow. That's what makes life worth living. Don't let anyone tell you to be happy with average. Don't let anyone tell you to stop dreaming. Tell them to get out of your way. Then double your goals. Triple them. Burn the boats and go after everything you want. You always have to be the person who believes in you before everyone else does. You always have to be your own biggest fan. And at first, it's going to be a single clap in an empty auditorium. It's going to be just you, by yourself, cheering for your own dreams. It's going to be a slow clap, just you, rooting for you, while everyone else is silent, while everyone else doubts you, while everyone else thinks you're wasting your time. And that's hard. People struggle to do things alone. Most people need validation from others. Most people need encouragement from the crowd. But the path of the exceptional person is a path you walk alone. You are not with other people. You are separated from the crowd. And instead of fighting that, instead of being sad about it, you need to see it as proof that you're on the right path. Because if everyone was cheering you on, if everyone understood what you're doing, that would mean you're just like everyone else. That would mean you're not special. That would mean you didn't burn the boats. The loneliness is the price. The isolation is the cost. But it's worth it. Because when you finally win, when you finally achieve what you set out to do, that's when the crowd shows up. That's when everyone wants to celebrate with you. But you'll know the truth. You'll know that you did it alone. You'll know that you burned the boats when nobody believed in you. Your laziness has nothing to do with being tired. Your laziness means you're not connected to something deep enough. You don't feel the necessity. You don't feel the pressure. You don't feel death breathing down your neck. You don't feel the fact that you could die tomorrow and you'd die with all your potential still inside you. The human animal, the way we're built, we need pressure to perform. We need to feel like we have no choice. When we feel that pressure, when we feel that necessity, we can move mountains. We've seen it throughout history, people doing impossible things when they had no other option. But when that pressure releases, when we feel comfortable, when we feel safe, we become incredibly lazy because there's no necessity. So you have to create necessity in your life. You have to create pressure. You have to give yourself deadlines. You have to make promises you have to keep. You have to burn the boats so that winning becomes necessary for survival. You have to remind yourself every single day that time is running out, that you're getting older, that opportunities are passing by, that if you don't move now, you never will. Create that pressure, create that necessity, burn the boats, then watch how much you can accomplish when you have no other choice. If you're in your 20s, listen to me carefully. Work day and night, do everything, learn as much as you can, fail as often as possible. Work-life balance, forget about it. Not in your 20s. That's the time to put in the work. That's the time to burn the boats. That's the time to sacrifice everything for your future. You want to know how to separate yourself from everyone else? You want to know how to become great? Start earlier than everyone else. Let me explain this to you. If you wake up at 10 in the morning and train at noon, train for 2 hours, rest, then train again at 6 for 2 hours, that's 2 training sessions. That's good. But imagine you wake up at 3 in the morning, you train at 4, you go from 4 to 6, come home, eat, rest. Now you train again at 9, train from 9 to 11, rest again. Now you train at 2, 2 to 4, rest. Now you train at 7, 7 to 9. Look at how much more work you got done. Look at how many more sessions you completed just by starting earlier. And when you do that every single day, when you put in 4 or 5 training sessions while everyone else is doing 2, the separation grows. After 1 year, you're ahead. After 2 years, you're way ahead. After 5 years, nobody can catch you. It doesn't matter how hard they work in the summer. It doesn't matter what they do. They're 5 years behind, and they're never catching up. That's the power of burning the boats early. That's the power of starting when you're young and going all in. Most people wait until they're older. Most people wait until it's too late. Don't be most people. Burn the boats now. Imagine you could talk to God before you were born. Imagine you could choose who you become. You say, I want to be the most courageous person in the world. And God says, then I will give you monsters to face. I will give you fear to conquer. I will give you situations that terrify you so that you can learn courage. You say, I want to be patient. God says, then I will make you wait. I will make things take longer than you want. I will make you work harder than you expected so you can learn patience. You say, I want to be wise. God says, then I will give you failures. I will give you pain. I will crush your spirit so you can learn judgment, so you can learn wisdom. And then you say, wait, this sounds terrible. Can you just give me a good life? And God says, I measure you by what you become, not by what you went through. I measure the quality of a blacksmith by the strength of his steel, not by the heat of the fire that made it. A good life is not an easy life. A good life is a life that makes you into a good person. And becoming a good person requires a hard life. It requires burning the boats. It requires facing the fire. That's how you become strong. That's how you become valuable. That's how you become someone who actually matters. The key to everything is knowing what you love, knowing what you were meant to do. knowing why you're here. You are unique. The way your brain is wired, the way you were raised, your experiences, your perspective, all of it is unique to you, and that uniqueness is your power. That's where your strength comes from. But most people never connect to it. Most people never figure out what they're supposed to do. They just do what everyone else does. They follow the path that's expected. They play it safe. They keep their options open, and they die without ever knowing what they could have been. But if you connect to it, if you know who you are, if you know what you love, if you know what you were meant to do, then everything changes. Then persistence becomes easy. Then suffering becomes worth it. Then burning the boats becomes natural. Because you're not just working hard for no reason. You're working hard for your purpose. You're suffering for your calling. And that makes all the difference. But here's what you have to do first. You have to accept where you are right now. You have to look in the mirror and accept what you see. A lot of people walk around lying to themselves. Oh, I'm good. I'm fine. Everything's great. No, you're not. You're not good. You have problems. You have weaknesses. You have failures you haven't dealt with. And you have to accept all of that before you can fix it. Most people never start the journey because they can't accept the truth. They're living a fake life. They're pretending to be someone they're not. They're acting like they have it together when they don't. And as long as you're living that lie, you can't grow. You can't improve. You can't become who you're supposed to be. So accept it. Accept that you're not where you want to be. Accept that you've made mistakes. Accept that you're not perfect. Accept all of it. And then start fixing it. Make a list of everything that's wrong. Everything you need to change. Everything you need to improve. And then start working on that list. Because once you fix those problems, once you deal with those issues, your journey can finally begin. Your real life can start. But none of that happens until you accept the truth. And none of that happens until you burn the boats on your old life and commit to building a new one. Don't be afraid to dream big. Don't be afraid to fail big. But remember this. Dreams without goals are just dreams. And dreams without action lead to disappointment. So have dreams, yes. Dream as big as you want. But then turn those dreams into goals. Life goals. Yearly goals. Monthly goals. Daily goals. Break it down, make it real, make it specific, and then understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency every single day, not just when you feel like it, not just when it's convenient, not just on the days when you're motivated. Every single day, you have to work at it every single day. You have to show up every single day. You have to burn the boats on laziness and commit to discipline. That's the only way it works. Discipline and consistency. Every single day. No excuses. No days off. No backup plans. Just you and your goals and your commitment to doing whatever it takes to achieve them. That's how you win. That's how you become great. That's how you turn dreams into reality. Burn the boats. Commit fully. And never look back. The people who win burn the boats. They cut off all escape routes. They make it impossible to retreat. They put themselves in a position where they have to succeed because failure is not an option. And when you do that, when you truly commit like that, something amazing happens. You find strength you didn't know you had. You find courage you didn't know existed. You find solutions you never would have found if you had a backup plan. Because when you burn the boats, your mind stops thinking about plan B. Your mind stops looking for the easy way out. Your mind focuses completely on making plan A work. And that focus, that total commitment, that's what separates winners from losers. Losers keep their options open. Winners burn the boats. Losers have backup plans. Winners go all in. Losers play it safe. Winners risk everything. So the question is simple. What are you going to do? Are you going to keep playing it safe? Are you going to keep your options open? Are you going to keep that backup plan just in case? Or are you going to burn the boats? Are you going to cut off all retreat? Are you going to commit fully to your dream? Because I'm telling you right now, if you want to win, if you want to build something great, if you want to become someone legendary, you have to burn the boats. You have to make success your only option. You have to put yourself in a position where quitting means dying. And when you do that, when you truly commit like that, you become unstoppable. So burn the boats. Today, right now, whatever is holding you back, whatever safety net you're clinging to, whatever backup plan you're keeping, just in case, let it go. Burn it. Destroy it. Make it impossible to go back. And then watch what happens. Watch how much you can achieve when you have no other choice. Watch how strong you become when retreat is not an option. Watch how great you can be when you finally burn the boats and commit fully to winning. The people who win burn the boats. Now it's your turn.